Hi, I'm Roger. This is not Roger that you see, but Roger that you hear. And not Roger that you hear, because this is the voice of Naphtali. However, the vibration of my voice, the frequency of my voice may resonate with you. You may recognize the flow of my voice, the qualities of my voice. The word is very familiar with Roger, and who it is that I am, and who it is that I was on earth. But what the world is not equipped with is the many mysteries that lied within my mind, the many mysteries that I discovered, the many nights that I slept awake, exploring, travelling, getting to know myself on a personal level, on a multi-dimensional level. It's time that you ask yourself who it is that you are. Who are you? Interdimensional, multi-dimensional. Who are you? What are you? A starseed? An earth angel? A light worker? A human? A man? A female? An animal? A mammal? What are you? Are you love? Are you wisdom? Are you healing? Are you whole? What is going on in your world? And what I'm saying is being supported by Mother Earth, if you cannot notice. We are here to support you, to help you, to guide you. But there are layers of your multidimensional being that can only be accessed with you, that can only be accessed and remembered with your divine choice to remember. I can only give so much, I can only share so much. without your choice, without you choosing to remember who you are, without you choosing to find who you are. The work that I put in may not reveal anything to you. Time will go on with or without us, with or without you. And when I say time, I mean space. Galactics are all around you, walking, talking, breathing, waiting. Earth angels are getting tired. To be in a world that does not support your moral code, or does not support your divinity in the way that it should, in the way that is natural, in a way that is not damaging. It's very tiring and very draining for any being, no matter how special or powerful or how light you are. It's time for everybody to come together, to work together, to be one, to share love, to share light, to share music, to dance, to have fun, to spin and twirl, to show jazz hands, to thrust, to be sensual, to feel what it feels to be alive. It's time, and the time is now. You, we, can bring in whatever timeline we wish. It's just a matter of raising our vibration to match that timeline. It's a matter of shifting our perspective to match that timeline. It's a matter of connecting with the heart. If it is a timeline of love that we are looking to strive towards, it's a matter of the heart. If it's this timeline that we are looking to strive towards, that is revolving wholeness and oneness. But the time is now. The Great Awakening is upon us. I'm Roger. Ashe. So, I'd like to take this moment. I ask you that you also take this moment to send your gratitude to Roger, to energy, to frequency, to love. I thank you for being present with me and sharing this moment with me. Ashe. Hey, so I just did a quick little bit of channeling with my guide Roger, and I still felt that there was more messages that he had to bring forward. So before, I thought that I would pull some cards and see what guidance we have coming through from Roger. And the first card that came out was Earth Pulsing, and it says pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. Now, for me, that is a message for all of us to really kind of slow down, connect, tap into our divinity, tap into Mother Nature as well. But it was more so, it was like kind of a message for myself. And the reason why that card came out was because he's literally telling me to slow down, to not place so much pressure on myself, because after I came out of that channeling, even though I've been working with my guide for, I would say, a short while, but others may say a long while, but yeah. So I do trust that when they are coming through, that they are giving me, that it is them. But what it is that there are times like throughout the year where the veil between like spirit and ourselves is thinner, so the connection can be more intense and it can be more vivid. And for me right now, it's not that the connection is not strong, it's just that the way that I'm experiencing him is not as physical in terms of physical validation, if that makes sense. There's been times where I'll be, when more early on in our connection, that when we used to communicate, I'll literally be sat on the edge of my bed and I'll be literally like laughing and responding, but physically responding. And I realised that when I physically respond, it's times when I'm really intensely feeling his energy. And the times when I just communicate within my person is when, not that the connection not as strong, it's just, and it depends on also the kind of the way that he's communicating with me, whether he's communicating clairaudiently or clairsentiently, or and so on. Sorry, 1 second. It depends on how he's communicating with me, whether he's giving me impressions within my mind's eye, whether he's speaking to me, whether he's making me feel something. That also is dependent on the intensity, I want to say, of the connection, of how I feel it. So he was basically telling me to slow down, because what I did was I said to him to give me a piece of information that I would only know is correct by searching up on the internet. So I asked that. He gave me the information, and it was pertaining to Star Trek. And then when I go on my phone to go on the internet, my internet's not working, the data on my phone's not working for some reason. So that was a clear sign. Then he comes through and says to me, basically, to kind of not to question him, to trust in him. I've always had trust in him, so to continue with that trust, because it's the trust that got me and him to be able to connect, if that makes sense. And then he said, maintain your childlike spirit. Now this is going to everybody, this is going to all of us. This individual, my guide Roger, was a actual human being. He actually lived on Earth at one point, and whilst he was physical, while he was incarnate on Earth, I didn't meet him or anything like that. I didn't know him on a personal level, but his energy, everything about him, everything that I know him to be, things that I've learned about him since he's passed, and things that I've learned throughout our relationship, our energetic relationship, have let me know that he is a very, very playful, youthful spirit, a very wise spirit, a very mature spirit, but very youthful, very playful. And he taps into his childlike energy a lot, and that's what he did throughout a lot of his life. That's what he's done throughout his career, is tapping into that playful energy. It's that playful energy is a direct link to like the wonders of the universe. Being playful, being imaginative, and enables you to kind of go beyond your ego. It enables you to go beyond the ego and to see other possibilities of reality. He's basically bringing to my attention that when we imagine something, that is a possibility, that is a possible reality that we can attain. As magical and as hard and as mystical as it seems, we can actually attain it here in the physical. He showed me that that makes so much sense why he showed me this, and one day I will share why it makes so much sense why he showed me this, but right now I don't feel it's the right time. He's given me the idea of flying, and the funny thing is the bird has literally just parked itself right in front of me. I don't know if you can see it right there. Oh, the sun's blocking it. But he is giving me the image of flying, and when we imagine that we can fly, we can actually fly. I know that sounds hard to believe, but he's saying that if you can imagine it, that means there is a possible reality for that, if that makes. I don't think I'm explaining that good, but if you can imagine it, if it's in your mind's eye, that means that somewhere somehow that is real, that is possible. It's also about not just that, it's about belief. And then when you turn your beliefs from a belief to a knowing, when that belief becomes integrated into your being, that's when it becomes possible. So basically, let's go back to the analogy of flying. So if you have the image that you can fly in your head, and you constantly kind of go over that belief or that knowing, that becomes integrated into your being. So it's not something that you question, it's not something that you put doubt on, it's not something that you affect the energy of that thought. If you was to jump off the ledge, you'll be able to fly. And I'm not telling anybody to go fly. I mean to go jump off a ledge and fly, because obviously we haven't seen any human being do that. But from the guidance that I'm getting, and I trust it, is that we can do amazing things. And it's about having that belief and having that childlike energy, maintaining your childlike spirit. Your child self wouldn't really question whether you can fly. I think a lot of us, when we was kids, tried to jump off the trampoline with the belief that if we had the umbrella in our hand, that we would fly, that we would float. Many people jumped off out of their bedroom windows. I know friends of mine jumped out of their bedroom windows with umbrellas in their hand, thinking that they would be able to fly or float or whatever. The next card that we have is power, and I've pulled from 5 different decks. I just thought that would be interesting. So we have power and we have quartz. And the great thing is about quartz, even though this doesn't say clear quartz, it looks like a clear quartz or a cloudy quartz. But a clear quartz has the ability to kind of become anything. It can kind of emulate, if you put it with another crystal, it can amplify the energy of that crystal. It can amplify the energy of any crystal, really. And I want to say it's mutable. That's what I want to say. It's a mutable kind of crystal. And again, it's taking me straight back to belief, and that the power is in belief. The power is in knowing that any possibility that we can think of is a real possibility. We can make anything within our mind a reality, and that's where the power lies. Okay, and right now he's telling me that that's what he was trying to do on Earth. That when he was on Earth in his career, he was trying to show that with the power of thought, and the power of living out that thought, more so, not necessarily living out, but more expressing that thought through physical, is where power is. It's where we can cultivate change. And then we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, and sorry, one second. What I'm being drawn to with this Queen of Swords, it's the manifestation, it's the bringing in of something. If you can see her, she's holding her hand out as if she's waiting for something to come in. But not just that she's waiting for something to come in, it's something that she's brought in herself. There's something to do with owning your power. I'm just going to see what... For some reason, he's showing me that the most powerful beings in terms of themselves and their energy and their auric field and so on are beings that are very, very sensual. Because in sensuality is kind of a freedom of expression of mind, body and soul combined. I don't know, that's what's coming forward right now. That sensuality is very much so linked to the combination and the expression of mind, body and soul. And those who are very sensual have integrated mind, body and soul. And it's almost that there's nothing, once you integrate mind, body and soul, there's nothing holding you back. There's no fear of kind of being judged. There's no fear of the thoughts of other people. It's this Chariot energy, which is the final card that came out, the charging forward. And for me, the Chariot is also not just about charging forward, but it's about using both the light and the dark to help you to reach your kind of personal power, to help you kind of elevate. It's about understanding how both sides really strive you towards the greatest good, when you can learn the lessons from both sides of the scale. And it's almost that when you integrate mind, body and soul, there's no fear of like judgment, there's no fear of kind of the outside opinions, or I don't know what, but there's something to do with like, there's just this freedom of expression, and there's no fear to express freely, which is then translated into sensuality for some reason. And I'm also getting like androgynous. Okay, so for some reason I'm being told to like pull one more card. So I'm going to pull it from my Gaia, Dreams of Gaia deck. And we'll see what comes out. But let's keep that just in case. Sorry, I just want one single card, even though we have... I'm just going to take these. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. So how I was talking about kind of androgynous and about kind of freedom of expression, and when I was talking about freedom of expression, it's more so about like expressing yourself, freedom of expression of sensuality, of sexuality, of identity, of masculinity, of femininity. And what came out is these cards. I don't know if you can see. Now with these, it's very fiery energy, but they both still represent to me balance. And I don't know why, but I'm getting like Libran energy. Obviously that's the scales, but there's almost this owning of the femininity and the masculinity in the self, which enables you to freely express. And again, this is all relating back to Roger, because this is what Roger did in his lifetime. He was very much so free in his expression of sensuality, of masculinity, of femininity. And that's really what he's bringing to the table today, to have a freedom of expression, to maintain your childlike spirit, because your childlike spirit is very much so free to express themselves however they want, to slow down and to go within. You know, within is so much safety, it's so much comfortability, but what you are surrounded by is everything that is yourself. And then when you go within and you find that, you are then able to bring that to the outside world. You're able to bring that comfort to the outside world to enable you to be able to express in whichever way that you feel, without feeling constrained or without feeling unsafe to do so. So I think that's all for today. Again, I thank Roger. I thank you for being with me. I send everybody an energetic care package of happiness, of love, of light, of tranquility, peace and love. Ashe.